Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn regarding the environmental factor that contributing to the health. The second factor, that is air. The first factor we have already learned, that is water. Now the second very important factor, that is air, which contributes to the health, which is the environmental factor. So what is basically air? Air is a mixture of gases that forms the atmosphere. Basically the atmosphere which is formed by the so many gases, that atmosphere is known as air. So if we see the composition of air, that which are the mixture of gases are present in the atmosphere. If we talk about oxygen, which is very important for the living organisms, that is 21%. So in the atmosphere 21% is only oxygen. Then next one is nitrogen, 78% in the atmosphere. 78% is calculating in the nitrogen. Next is 0.04%, which is a carbon dioxide, and other gases in that mostly argon gas is 0.96%. So we'll see composition of air. So as I've told you that oxygen consists of 20.96, that means overall almost 21%, as we have seen in the figure, and nitrogen 78%, carbon dioxide 0.03%. Traces of other gases like argon, helium, neon, xenon, etc., they are also present in the air, but in that also argon is having the maximum amount. Besides these gases, dust, water, vapors, small particles of ammonia, viruses, bacteria, traces of vegetable debris, they are also present in the air. The composition of air remains constant, but it may change due to the external factors. So basically, which are the functions of air? Why the air is needed? In which criteria or in which categories it is needed? So basically, air is vital. Vital, that means very important or most important. So air is vital for all the living things. Life is impossible without air, that we all know. It purifies the blood. This is the first and foremost function. Blood is cleansed by the exchange of gases in the lungs. For an example, carbon dioxide, that is CO2, is removed from the blood, and oxygen, that is O2, is taken up by the blood. So this is how the purification of blood is happening. Now next one is keeps the human body cool. So basically it regulates the temperature of the body, so it keeps the human body cool. And next one is controlling body temperature. This is how it can control the body temperature. Next is it is the main medium of communication services. So it is a main medium. Next is it is a medium for spreading of pollen and bacteria. So the spreading of pollens and bacteria, they are spreading via the medium, and that basic medium is air medium. And air is conducted stimuli help in functioning of auditory and olfactory sense organs. Auditory, that means which is related to hearing. That is related to auditory, and olfactory sense organ, that is related to smell. Now, which is the olfactory sense of organ? That is basically nose. And which is the functioning of auditory sense organ? That is basically an ear. So the air is conducted stimuli which helps in the functioning of auditory, that means hearing also, and olfactory sense organ, that means smell or the nose functioning. Now we will see how this air is causing some of the disorders or that diseases which is caused by air, or that disorder for which the air is responsible. This disorder are called as airborne diseases. That disorders or that diseases which is only caused by air due to the air exchange, that contaminated air exchange, that is called as airborne diseases. So now we will learn regarding the airborne diseases. So there are so many airborne diseases which are spreading by the contaminated air. These are mainly related to the respiratory system. These system is very most important in this air. Continuous coughing for no apparent reason resulting in acute bronchitis, which means inflammation of the bronchioles due to the air pollution. If the pollution of air is intense, it may result in immediate death by suffocation. The polluted air with droplet of infectious agent causes acute bronchitis, pneumonia, tuberculosis, which is TB, lung infection, and infection of the upper respiratory tract. The other pollutants in air can also cause asthma, emphysema, lung cancer, and respiratory allergies. Apart from it, heart problems and neurological problems in children and elderly and smokers and in others with chronic respiratory problems. But increased level of lead can cause neuropsychological development in children, and sulfur dioxide causes asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is in short we can say that COPD, respiratory tract infection, and even death in severe exposure of the contaminated air. And air polluted with hydrocarbons causes lung cancer. So here you can see there are so many sources from which we can get the air. So which are the sources of air pollution? Now we'll see the first of all air pollution. So basically air is what? Air is the basis of the life for all the forms, or we can say all the living organisms. And clean air is essential for good health. Changes in the composition of air generates danger to health. So as I've told you that composition of that means there are some specific percentage like oxygen, which is 21 or 20.096 percentage. So if this composition is getting changing, so it can also lead to the effects on the health. In developing countries, air pollution has become a health hazard, like Bhopal gas tragedy in 1984 in India, and the smoke of forest fire in Malaysia and Indonesia, which is in 1977 disaster that resulted through air pollution. WHO estimated, that means World Health Organization estimated that about 2 million people die prematurely every year as a result of air pollution. So because of the air pollution, according to the research in 2009, which is conducted by the World Health Organization, 2 million people, they are dying prematurely. That means before their age to die, they are dying every year as a result of only and only air pollution. So air pollution is responsible for the diseases of respiratory system, nervous system, and heart. Now pollution. What do you mean by pollution? So basically pollution is the process of mixing of what? Mixing of the elements of natural environment with those of external environment and becoming active in negative and destructive direction, leaving their natural course of action. That is pollution. Now what is air pollution? So if we see the special perspective of air pollution, so basically it is a condition in which dust, smoke, toxic gases, chemical vapors, and scientific experiments affects the natural composition of air. The natural composition that already we have learned in the first slide. So that air pollution is a condition in which all the factors like dust, smoke, toxic gases, chemical vapors, scientific experiments, these all affect the natural composition of air. If we say in other words, when the air becomes harmful for the man and his environment due to excess of external elements, that condition is also called as air pollution. So in this image here you can see this is the fresh breath, or we can say the fresh air all the forms can have. And this is the image of bad breath or the harmful air, which is harmful to the health of all the living organisms. Now we will see which are the sources of air pollution, from which areas the air is getting polluted. So basically, if we are going to talk about outdoor air pollution, so it can include power plants, from their air is getting polluted, construction and road dust through emissions from the transportation or vehicles, biomass burning, industrial waste, open waste burning, transportation, brick kilns. So these are all the sources of outdoor air pollution from which the air is getting polluted. If we talk about percentage, that how much percentage is conserved in particular source of air pollution, majority, that is 60%, is residential wood burning, in which we can include wood stoves, boilers, campfires, etc. So residential wood burning is 60%. Then next one is emissions from facilities like point sources, so it is about 15%. Next one, 5% includes agriculture, construction, recreational equipments. These all are having only 5%. Next 5% is on-road cars, trucks, buses, etc. Next is industrial, commercial, institutional combustion, which is in the 5%. And apart from all these sources, another 10% of sources are also there which can contribute to the air pollution. So these are the sources with the percentage. Now we will see one by one. So sources of air pollution, in that the main sources of air pollution includes, the first one is automobiles. So motor vehicles are the major source of air pollution, as we all know. Throughout the urban areas and small towns, and nowadays rural areas also, they emit hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, lead, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter. These hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen may be converted in the atmosphere into photochemicals pollutants of oxidizing nature. So all types of vehicles that run on diesel, that emit black smoke and malodorous fumes and increase air pollution. So all type of vehicles which is based on the diesel that emit, that means it releases. So it releases black smoke and malodorous fumes, and due to that the air pollution is increasing. So this is a picture of automobiles. Due to increased number of vehicles and heavy traffic, Delhi has become the 4th most polluted city in the world, where about 400 kg of lead is released in the air through various gases and badly affects the brain, kidneys and heart. And about 60% of air pollution is only due to traffic of transportation. So this is the very important figure. 60% of air pollution is due to traffic of transportation. Now the next, or the second major source is industries. Industries emit large amount of pollutants into the atmosphere. Combustion of fuel to generate heat and power produces smoke, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide and fly ash. Petrochemical industries that generate hydrogen fluoride, hydrochloric acid and organic halides. Many industries discharge carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, etc. And industries discharge their waste from high chimneys at high temperature and high speed. Here you can see these are the chimneys which is emitting these kind of radiations. So industries are also responsible for the air pollution. Now the third one is domestic sources. So in that, wood, coal, gas, oil, etc. used as fuel in homes for cooking food and other works. Smokes, dust, carbon and other gases produced by the fuel used for the cooking in homes that influences the composition of air. due to domestic coal burning, like this kind of burning if we are having in homes. So this kind of burning in 1952 in London disaster of air pollution, in which thousands of people died. So this is the third. Now the fourth major source is tobacco smoke. The most direct and important source of air pollution affecting the health of the people is tobacco smoke. It affects the health of the passive smoker as they inhale the smoke produced by others. So there are two kinds of smoking. The first one is active smoking. Second one is passive smoking. Active smoking, that means the one person is smoking. But in passive smoking, individual is not smoking, but the fumes is getting inhaled by the others who are smoking. So that is the indirect smoking, because directly they are not smoking. Like their nearby areas, their relatives or friends or anyone else is smoking, and that fuel is getting inhaled through the respiratory tract. So that is called as passive smoking. Now the fifth one is scientific research. Scientific research, that means explosions and reactions which is performed for the research and development of nuclear technique, space journeys and atomic power that pollute the environment, destruction of spacecraft, missiles, weapons, radioactivity, and imbalance in the temperature that ultimately results in the environmental pollution. So we know that nowadays our technology is getting on very high level, that is standardized, very standardized level. So because of the research and development in these many things like nuclear technique, like space journeys, like atomic power, they can also pollute the environment. So here what happens: destruction of spacecraft, missiles, weapons, radioactivity, imbalance in the temperature. So these can ultimately leads to the environmental or air pollution. Then these are some miscellaneous sources, and these miscellaneous sources includes spraying of fertilizers, insecticides, burning waste like plastic, tires, etc. Next one is greenhouse effect, which is very important, and change in ozone layer of the atmosphere, decreasing the forest resources, cutting of trees for industries, and building for the urbanization. Apart from that, uses of chemical gases which we are using in the war, and spilling of petrol and oil in the sea and its burning. So these all are the miscellaneous sources which can also affect the air pollution or the composition of air. So which are the air pollutants that are present in the air? So the major air pollutants, that means the responsible factors which can affect or which can lead to the air pollution, they are called as air pollutants. They are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, lead, cadmium, hydrocarbons, ozone, particulate matter, and polyaromatic hydrocarbons. These all are the air pollutants which can cause air pollution. Now, due to this air pollution, so many factors can be affected. So the effects of air pollution particularly on health is what that we are going to learn now. Air pollution is a slow poison and it is becoming a serious environmental problem nowadays. It affects not only the health of the people but also for all the other animals apart from man also. It has adverse effects on plants, soils, monuments, buildings and climate. But some of the hazards of air pollution are like this. Firstly, we will see the effect on human health. So it affects the respiratory system, brain, heart and kidneys. On the respiratory system, it causes cold and coughing. So cold, cough, acute bronchitis, tuberculosis, asthma, lung cancer, emphysema, respiratory allergies. These are all the signs and symptoms which is seen in the people who have been affected by the air pollution. So the presence of lead in the air can cause brain, heart and kidney problems. So these are the effects on human health. Now the second point is effect on soil and plants. So air pollution, especially including sulfur dioxide, fog and ill effects of fluorine compounds, check the growth of plant. Contaminated vegetables consumed by men and animals make them ill. Air pollution abrades and corrodes metals. These affects the fertility of soils and it causes disappearance of the chlorophyll, the green coloring matter which is responsible for photosynthesis in the plant, that breakdowns of plant cells and premature leaf fall. So basically what happens here, due to the air pollution, disappearance of the chlorophyll will be happen. And what is that chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is the green coloring matter which is responsible for the photosynthesis process in the plants and trees. So plant cells will be break down and due to that prematurely leaf will be fall down. Ozone affects the field crop, fruits and fruit trees. Then number 3 is effect on monuments and buildings. So the black soot released by Mathura refinery is causing blackening of the Taj Mahal. This is very important news nowadays. Similarly, other buildings and monuments are getting affected by polluted air also, and lot of cleaning and maintenance and repair of buildings increases besides causing aesthetic nuisance. So if we see the picture of Taj Mahal, so this is the real picture of Taj Mahal. And this is the picture after air pollution affected it. So here you can see the basic difference of the color of Taj Mahal. You can see here, this is the real one, this is the air pollution. So not only on the this monument but on the surrounding area also you can see the difference. So this is the difference of air pollution. So this, what is the basic cause of that? Black soot that is released by Mathura refinery, and that is causing blackening of Taj Mahal. So in the, what is responsible for blackening of Taj Mahal? Black soot which is released by Mathura refinery, that is responsible for the blackening of Taj Mahal. So apart from Taj Mahal, there are so many buildings also, and apart from that other buildings and monuments also, they are getting affected by the some kind of air pollution. Next one is socio-economic effects. So these we have seen. The third one which affects on the monuments and buildings. Then the fourth one is socio-economic effects. So smoke mixed with fog is called smog. Smoke plus fog, that is, we can say the smoke. So smoke can be injurious to health if it contains sulfur dioxide, bone monoxide and nitrous oxide in sufficient quantity. It reduces visibility also due to the smoke and fog as rail and road accidents and disturbance in road traffic. Uneasiness you can feel due to the unpleasant smell at some of the major social effects of air pollution. And air pollution also affects the general vitality and reduces the capacity to work and thus affects the economical development. So these were all the factors. Now Control of air pollution and use of safety measures. Why the control is needed? Because it is getting worse day by day, so that is why control and prevention is very much needed. So control of pollution, it includes, like, it has become a major health disorder related to various systems. Solve the problem of air pollution and to develop protective measures against it. Various countries have launched unified program under WHO, World Health Organization. Lack of awareness and resources to solve the problem is major hindrance in India. So what is the basic problem in India? Major hindrance, that is lack of awareness and lack of resources. If we have major resources or adequate resources and adequate level of awareness, then we can solve the problem easily. It can be controlled by joint efforts. Following measures should be taken to control and prevent air pollution. These measures are, this is the first one, containment method. So by these methods we can control the air pollution. How? In this method, the pollutants and toxic substances are prevented from escape into the surrounding air. This is done by various engineering methods. For an example, exhaust fan we can have in our offices also, in our houses also. Suction apparatus we can have, air cleaning devices we can have. They are used in the factories to improve the ventilation. So this is the containment method. Building enclosures and installing arresters for removal of contamination are other engineering methods of containment. So this is the method of containment. From which the air is getting out. So this is the first one, containment. Now the second method is replacement method. In these methods, those technological processes which produce pollutions are replaced with the non-polluting technological processes. So the term itself says that replacement, one is replacing the other. So in these methods, we are replacing the technological process with producing pollutions which is replaced by the non-polluting technological processes. For an example, if we say use of compressed natural gas, that is CNG, instead of diesel in automobiles or petrol in automobiles, use of non-leaded petrol instead of leaded petrol, use of solar cooler, natural gas or gobar gas instead of firewood, coal, etc. for cooking. So these are the methods which we can replace, so through which the air pollution can be decreased. The third method is dilution. What is dilution? Extensive planting of trees and vegetation around industrial area and residential area helps in diluting the pollutants. So here we are diluting the pollution, that is why the name is here dilution. This is known as establishing a green belt. Establishing a green belt. Dilution can also be achieved by the use of long chimneys high up to the atmosphere where gases and smoke gets dispersed and diluted. So here we can use the chimneys through which the exhaust, that means the gases or the smoke gets dispersed on the high amount at the atmosphere, so it can not pollute the surrounding air. So this is the dilution method. Next one is disinfection of air. This is the fourth method. Mechanical ventilation used helps in reducing vitiated air and bacterial activity. Operation theaters and infectious diseases wards, they are disinfected by the ultraviolet radiation, that is UV rays. Chemicals, mist, triethylene glycol vapors, they are effective against the bacteria. Dust control is another method for reducing the bacterial content of air in hospital, wherein oil is applied to the floors. The another one is legislative methods. To set up and strengthen industrial pollution control boards at the state and central level, imposing environmental tax to prevent pollution. So pollution under control certification should be made compulsory, and air law, which came into the existence was 1981. It should be implemented properly, which is the Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. Private organization should be forced to protect environment. These are the legislative methods by which, by laws or by some kind of compulsiveness or legislations, we can make this compulsory. These are the legislative methods. Now, management of transport and road traffic to reduce the release of pollutants. This is the sixth one, management of transport and road traffic. So here what we can do is reducing the number of private vehicles. We can reduce the number of vehicles that the human beings are using. Proper facilities of public transport system. So if people will get proper public transport system or facility, the number of private vehicles will be automatically reduced. To discourage the use of motorcycles, cars, scooter and motorbikes, and encourage the practice of pooling of vehicles by a number of people working at the same place. That is called as pooling of vehicles. Pooling of vehicles, that means number 1, 2, 3, 4 or more. These people are having same workplace, and they are going with the one car or any of the vehicle. So that is the pooling of the vehicles. If the people are working at same place, 1, 2 or more individuals can have the one vehicle for their workplace, for going to their workplace. So that is also the important one, pooling of vehicles. The next is stopping overloading of vehicles. Determining the age of vehicles. Industries should be set up away from the residential area, and proper method of waste disposal to be used. So these all are the management strategies of transport and road traffic to reduce the release of pollutants. Number 7 important one is mass education. The public participation is essential to control air pollution. People should be the electronic educated, the hazards of air pollution and its control and prevention. People should be made aware of their rights and duties, and the health department, engineering department, forest and transportation department, they should be jointly and equally responsible for it. So the main important point is public participation is essential in mass education. And number 8 includes other techniques. So other techniques, in that plantations should be encouraged by government and voluntary organizations. Deforestation should be encouraged, it should be discouraged. Proper method of waste disposal should be used. Industry should be set up away from the residential area. Use of helmet, mask, glasses while driving, and alternative fuel to be used instead of the wood. So these all are the techniques which can include to management of the air pollution. So these all factors we have seen in the general. Now we will see what is the role of nurse to control this or to manage this. So basically the role of nurse, role of community health nurse in control and prevention of air pollution. So what is our role? Air pollution is a worldwide problem, not only for India. Government alone cannot control it without the public participation. So the most important is public participation. Community health nurse is a member of environmental health, and she has got significant role in solving this problem. She can help solving this problem in following ways. By which ways we can solve these problem? Like the first one is by providing health education. So we will provide the health education to the people, we will aware them, and the problem can be solved. So the first one in the health education is by educating individuals, families, community about the composition of air, need for a clean air, and sources of air pollution. The next point is to inform the people about the sources of air pollution and methods of its control. Next point is advising people to avoid crowded places, fairs, large gatherings, because their contaminated air can getting increased, and other people can also get infected. Then encouraging them to give up smoking, motivating people for early morning walk, because in the early morning small vehicles are there, decreased amount of fumes are there, so that the morning walk will be freshen up for the people. Teaching school children about the sources of air pollution and its effect on health, and will go a long way on controlling air pollution. So this is roles. Now we will see the legal roles of role of nurse. So in the legal roles, ensuring active participation in implementing the health laws regarding pollution and cleanliness of air, reporting the responsible authorities about the breaking or violation of these laws, and seeking cooperation of local administration and local bodies like municipal committees, municipal corporations, etc. So these are the legal roles. Next one is the technical participation. So in the technical participation, consulting air scientists and public health engineers about latest techniques and motivating community to take benefit from them, gathering knowledge about low-cost techniques for constructing well-ventilated houses and a lot of sunlight, and passing on this information to the community. So these are the technical participation. Next is roles related to treatment. So related to treatment, what is the role of nurse? Predicting the possible outbreak of diseases causing by air pollution with their ill effects on health, like diagnosing these diseases early or at the primary level, and making arrangements for the proper treatment and referral services. Referral services, that means a particular area or the particular hospital, if it is not having a specialized department for it, we are referring to it the another hospital or the another standardized or the upper level hospital, that is we can call it as the referral services. We are referring to the another department, that is referral services. So these are the roles related to treatment. So this is all about the air.